Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Buzzman Videos. Buzzman is a great podcast initiative which aims to bring together inspirational stories from across the country onto one united platform. My name is Roya and I'm here with Dr. Varun Arora today. Welcome sir, thank you for joining us. So tell us a little bit about yourself, sir. Tell us about your background and what position you hold currently.
I'm Dr. Varun Arora. I'm working as a faculty member, working in a reputed tree care institute with 2000 bed facility. It's a government institute, one of the oldest in northern India, Haryana. And currently we are looking after COVID patients with 500 bed dedicated for COVID-19 patients. I'm currently working as officer in charge control room for COVID-19 for the last 6 months. And it has been one of a life kind of experience, new challenges, new disease, and new kind of scenario every day.
So, I mean, as you mentioned, so, with the current pandemic when COVID-19, especially to the medical community, it has brought about a lot of tough times. So tell us a little bit about your experience during the pandemic.
Well, in India, we always had an opportunity by looking at the West that what is going to happen. The cases that came in India was 2 or 3 months after when it surged in the Europe.
Yeah.
First China, then Europe, then US, and then came the surge in India, which we are currently facing.
Yeah.
So in our mindset, we were a little bit rather prepared, and we had that window to get ourselves gear up for the preparation. But currently with 40 lakhs patients, total number cumulative, and currently seeing around 90,000 patients per day, I'm a little bit worried that where it is going to. I think very soon within a week, we are going to see 1 lakh patients per day. Currently, it is really very challenging because the beds are very less, especially in the government sector. The patient's load is very high. The sick patients who need ICU beds, it is little bit difficult to arrange the ICU beds for them. I would again request through this medium that the best policy is avoid the infection as much as possible. The good part is that only 10% people need hospitalization, but looking at the vast population we have, this 10% is very, very high.
Right.
We have around 90% plus ICU bed occupancy all the time, sometimes 100%. So sometimes needy patients are not able to get the beds also.
Right. Right. Now, as you mentioned, sir, majority of our healthcare workers, they do have to face the responsibility of being in an environment with COVID-19 and then possibly taking the virus back home with them. What would you say to some of these families who have people on the front line of fighting COVID-19?
I think the due credit that is given to us, the respect, we are humbled that for the first time, the doctor fraternity, the nursing fraternity is respected by all across the nation. Especially our Honorable Prime Minister also made that initiative, even from Independence Day, that Corona warriors are working day and night. But again, the families are the one who are also sacrificing.
Yeah.
Because we are like at war front and they are at home. The mental trauma, the anxiety, uh, I myself currently is COVID positive, opting for home isolation.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
was tested positive on 18th of this August,
Oh,
and I was hospitalized for 5 days. I returned back. Now I am healthy, but the report is still positive, repeat positive.
okay.
I can share that the family that goes through that trauma is really of paramount importance. That sometimes the families are not given due respect in the society.
Right.
If you are a doctor, you are not your family at your home is not given that much respect.
Right.
They alienate you from the society, thinking that you will spread the infection.
Right. Yeah.
And if the society gets an infection, they will come with folded hands, please treat us. But the same family that you respect, that should be given, who is already undergoing the trauma. So we saw such cases in Delhi, we saw in metropolitan cities where doctors were asked to leave their houses where families are asked to dislocate themselves.
Right.
But again, I would say now the scenario is a little bit changing. People have started accepting, but again, I would say due credit to the family, the support by the society is still missing. It needs to be here.
We also have to mention, the mental health that this is bringing upon people. I don't think anybody at all expected to be stuck in their homes for 6 months or even a longer period of time. Tell us a couple of ways that people can engage in, certain activities to help prevent, help make better mental health.
With one of the strictest lockdown across all the nations, India was able to tame down the growth of the virus in the beginning. At this lockdown, I must appreciate that people all across India, they followed the norms, but in the end, what we are seeing is the repercussion of that lockdown.
Right.
Again, COVID is not only a physical disease. It's not a social disease. It is a mental disease. People are separating themselves through not only physical measures but also emotional measures.
Right.
If somebody is COVID positive, it's something like it is just like he just need your emotional support.
Mhm.
And people looking at themselves at lockdown, somehow there is a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, and I must say avoid unnecessarily media and news exposure. Avoid unnecessarily negative news, stay positive, eat healthy, maintain social distance, but not emotional distance.
Right.
And this mental situation is going to rise as the number of cases are going to increase. But again, I would say that COVID-19 has bonded some families also. Art of sitting together now, which they were not able to sit now. They are sitting together, sharing together. So there are positives also. But again, I would say, longer run, negativity percolates and you have to be positive. Again, that COVID does not have a lot of mortality. Only 2% is the mortality. 95 to 98% will recover,
Right.
and you are going to be in those. So the best part is stay positive, eat healthy.
Mhm. Now, how would you suggest a person is to tackle if a family member within my own household does have COVID-19? How, and they are placed under quarantine for 2 weeks? How are the rest of the family members living in the same home? How would you suggest they cope, or some safety measures? What would you suggest?
Uh, that's a very nice question. I must compliment because this is everybody's is asking. Since you don't have so many beds in the hospital, and 80% people are either mild symptomatic or asymptomatic, only 15% needs hospitalization, or 10 to 15%. So 85% people can be taken care of at home. So you have to go by a very simple principle: few do's and don'ts for the patient and few do's and don'ts for the family. The first is maintain distance. Home isolation should only be advised to a patient if you have a separate room and a separate bathroom. If you don't have, kindly don't go for home isolation, because there is a risk of exposing your family members,
Right.
because this virus spreads through aerosols and it can go through longer distance. Earlier it was considered 2 feet, then it was 6 feet. Now they say if you can sneeze, it can go up to 20 feet. So based on that, you need to have a separate toilet and separate bathroom. If you don't fulfill this prerequisite at your home, kindly get admitted to a COVID care center, private hospital, or any other place. But the second part again comes the family member. If there is any person who is at high risk, diabetes, hypertension, that person should also be isolated into the other room. So there should not be any contact. Third, very important, both for the patient and the family member. Education infodemics is so much that sometimes we do forget the simple things.
Right.
The patient should always wear a mask. The family member, only one person should be dedicated as a
True.
person helping person.
Mhm.
He should go, he should wear a mask, gloves, cap, and after that, whatever utensils bringing outside or getting inside, only one person should deal with it.
Right.
We have a lot of disinfectants, so it should be disinfected or it should be disposable, so it should be burnt.
Mhm.
Plus, after disinfection, all the things should be put in under the sun. Their clothes should be washed separately. So it is just like a personal private care
Right.
in a separate room, and all patients should monitor their oxygen level by a simple pulse oximeter. Uh, this is kind of a pulse oximeter which I can show. So this shows your oxygen and this also shows your pulse rate. So there are signs and symptoms of this. If you have a dip in your oxygen below 95, 93, if it is pulse rate is high, if you are feeling breathlessness, in that situation, discontinue your home isolation and take advice from any nearby COVID hospital. So this has to be done morning, evening, only healthy diet, a lot of immunogenic response, natural foods, and yoga, breathing exercises, such kind of things should be done. Always wear a mask, preferably N95, if not possible, 3-layer, but never meet that patient and avoid the distance. Family members should also make sure if anybody develops symptoms, they should also get tested. The period of getting infected and developing symptoms is 2 to 14 days with an average of 5 to 6 days. So anybody in the family developing symptom, he should be also tested again. So these are very small precautions, and these should be very religiously followed if you are going for a home isolation.
Now, I mean, you did mention, sir, that, especially over here in India, with the number of people that we have, it would be safe to say that a majority have maintained lockdown respectfully, but we do have a few people who've been roaming around here and there. Now, would you say herd immunity boosts people's immunity, or how would you put it?
See, herd immunity is very less understood in concept of COVID-19 in this context. Herd immunity means if you have a community with 100 susceptibles, and supposingly 80% are asymptomatics, and out of them 30-40% develop infection. So what will happen to the others susceptible? During lockdown also, there has been instances when people have violated the lockdown. Now, since the unlock has begun, to current situation is that the latest data from various cities are coming.
Right.
Like Delhi says that 29% of public of Delhi has already developed antibodies. 30% of the people have been infected and they have developed antibodies.
Right.
I think just yesterday Chennai has shown its data. 21% of the community has developed antibodies. As I repeated earlier, I reiterate, 80 to 85% will be either mild symptomatic or asymptomatic, and corona will pass. No need to worry. So those people will develop antibodies, which are IgG antibodies. Normally it takes 2 to 3 weeks to develop.
Okay.
That means if today you are antibody positive, and that means it leads to herd immunity. That means you were infected 2-3 weeks before, or before that 1 month, and you were not tested, but you were COVID positive, and now you're okay.
Right.
So the concept says that if you are having mild level of antibodies, that the antibodies level is not very much high, so in that situation the antibody wean off very quickly. Within a span of 1 to 2 months, antibodies can go down. And just today Bangalore has published one of the patient details that the person is repeatedly positive after 1 month. He was positive in July, then he was positive again. Nothing to worry about that, but again I would say herd immunity antibodies last for how long? Currently we say we have the data for the last 2-3 months that for if you are positive, herd immunity is there. The purpose of vaccine is the same, to develop the herd immunity. But till the time vaccine is not available, we will have to rely on this. Chennai 21%, Delhi 29%, Gurgaon 10%. That every 10th person has already been infected with COVID virus. And out of them, nobody was aware of it. Only 10, 15, 20% were aware of it. So based on these facts, I would say herd immunity, let's pray to God, it works for a long time. Till the time we develop the vaccine, herd immunity saves us. And good part is that so many people have developed antibodies. Nobody was having any kind of symptoms. So people should not be so much afraid of COVID-19. They should maintain healthy lifestyle. They should wear masks. They should follow hand hygiene, social distancing, but they should not be afraid of that fear that I will get the corona. The best part is you got corona, you got recovered, antibodies developed, and you never knew about it. So how good is that? So this is such a good virus.
Right.
So be as positive about it. The only thing is, don't remove your mask on this concept of herd immunity, because we are not sure that herd immunity in future will protect again or not.
Again, right.
As in others diseases shown that once you have been infected, you will not be infected again. But there are also some diseases like normal common cold, you get it 2-3
Right.
times.
Yeah.
So it can happen in also this COVID-19, but the data is not that robust. But yes, this is one of, I would say, red alarm, that even if you have been tested positive, you have recovered, you should never ever leave your mask. Keep on wearing the mask. Keep on using the hand hygiene and other distancing methods.
Now, you mentioned, sir, like, the mandatory of how important it is to wear a mask. Now, as of the 1st of September, lockdown has basically eased over in a lot of our states, and people are out in full volume. So, until we do receive a vaccine, how would you suggest people, tackle the situation? They're no longer confined to their homes.
This is actually the burning question and a really relevant one, because of the lockdown, so many people have lost their jobs, livelihood. Now the situation has come. People say, "Ki better I get the corona, but I need money. Where to eat?" So in that situation, now you have to do the unlock. The only thing you have to be careful is that all the principles of social distancing, mask, I would say WHO has suggested, every government has suggested, the halt in the number of cases is just because the mask restricts the probability of getting virus inhaled by your mouth and your nose. So whenever you are going into any crowd area, try to just avoid contact, wear mask, wear goggles, use your hand sanitizer or repeated hand wash. Your immunity level should be high. Avoid unnecessary gatherings. Along with that, even if you have any symptoms, just quarantine yourself and avoid any crowded area. Government has given the guidelines that even if you have symptoms, you can inform your office and COVID-19 test is available.
Right.
People are shy of getting tested. Please get tested. The earlier you will get tested, the less is the probability of you infecting others. So there is some studies which says that use the word R naught, that one person can infect 2-3%, 4 people. So the earlier you get tested, the earlier you will uh, abstain yourself, quarantine yourself, isolate yourself. So aware of the current situation and avoid, there are red zones, hotspot zones, where the government says that these are the areas where there is a large epidemic of number of cases are going. So when you leave, you can check it on that these are the areas where there is a high probability. So if you can avoid those areas, avoid those areas. But never ever forget that mask is now an essential part of your life. Hand hygiene is also an essential part of your life.
Right. Okay. Now, before we go, sir, I have to mention our entire Buzzman team would like to salute, especially doctors, nurses, and all of our sanitary departments for the courage and bravery, that they've shown during COVID-19. So we all honestly really bow our heads to all of you, and especially you saying you had tested positive, but now you are in remission. So we
Yes,
do wish
and
you a very speedy recovery. Yeah.
thank you so much. And I think now I'm in the last phase of recovery, and nothing to worry from COVID. We all are in this same boat, and we will sail together, and we will come out of this pandemic very soon, keeping the spirit high. Thank you so much for your support.
Wonderful,
Thank
sir. Thank you so much for your kind words and insight into your life. And most importantly, some very great safety tips all of us can take and implement in our lives during this time. So, once again, thank you for watching, and a big thank you to all our viewers for watching our podcast today. Stay tuned for more inspirational stories from across the country. My name is Roya, signing off from Buzzman Videos. Stay safe, everybody.